2007 British Open champion Padraig Harrington in New York because the PGA Tour Playoffs, the chase for the FedEx Cup, it begins here in Westchester at the Barclays Classic. We'll get to that in a little bit, but I said something there in the introduction that I want to know how it feels. British Open champion, first major. A few weeks you've had a chance to let that sink in.
As they like to call it, the champion golfer of the year. It was incredible, especially the first week at home. There was a lot of celebrations, a lot of parties, a lot of functions, official functions, lots to do, very busy. It was exhilarating. It was way out there, but now I'm back playing golf and I have to somehow get my feet in the ground and start playing again.
You were the first Irishman in 60 years to win the Open Championship. What was that like for you, for the country?
It was a big deal at home. Ireland has produced a lot of good golfers over the years, and we're very keen in golf. We obviously had the Ryder Cup there last September, so it's a big sport in Ireland, and we did need to have a major winner. Yeah. People were crying out for it. They were desperate for somebody to go out there and win a major, and thankfully it was me. And it means a lot. I'm sure it means a lot to the juniors in Ireland. They have somebody of their own to look up to now, that they have their own major winner. So, yeah, it should bring the game on. But it's really something that we needed in the country. And I think Peter Allis said it right. We kind of deserved it at this stage.
Certainly, and you won in the playoff, beating Sergio. And after the 18th hole, before the playoff began, and a little disappointing on the 18th hole.
Yeah, obviously I messed up big time twice on the 18th. Recovered nicely, but when I was walking off the green, I was very disappointed. But my son came running out of the crowd to give me a hug, and the minute I picked him up, I forgot all about what happened. And if you ever see the tape, I'm walking off that green like I'd won the Open. Yeah. I'm waving to the crowds and I'm reacting like I've won it. And at no stage when I was waiting for the playoff or waiting for Sergio to finish did I allow myself to feel like I'd lost the Open. And I think that was crucial to me going out and playing well in the playoff. I never had an emotional down between the finish of 18 and the start of the 4 playoff holes.
Yeah, nothing like holding your son after.
Yeah, he couldn't care less. He couldn't care that I'd made 6 down the last. He didn't know. I was a champion to him, and that's all that counted.
Let's get into the playoffs here, because that's what you're in town for, and that's what begins this week. It starts on Thursday in Westchester. For people who aren't familiar with it, it's the first time the PGA Tour is doing it. Explain what it is.
Yeah, the Tour looking for a season-ending finale. They're looking for something exciting to get people's interest. Obviously, we've had the 4 majors during the main season, and now we're looking to build up to something, a crescendo at the end of the year. And this playoff 4 tournaments, everybody gets a rating based on how they've played up to now, and then you go into it, and it gives more people a chance of winning the overall title. Sometimes at this time of the year, the winner of the old system, the winner of Player of the Year, was decided. Somebody had won enough events that it was over with. Now, we've got 4 tournaments and it's up for grabs. I think I'm 20th in the ranking, yeah. And I know if I go into this and get off for the 4 weeks, I have a great chance of winning. I probably need to win twice. Whereas somebody further up the rankings may need to win once and a couple of other good performances, but it really gives it something to play for. It certainly gives more players like me more of a chance of winning.
The top 144 in Tiger Woods, number 1 not playing the Barclays. 144 is Jeff Grove. The points increase for each of these events, correct?
Yeah, well, the same points for each event, but you get, I think the number 1 guy going in is Tiger. He gets, I think, 100,000 points. Right. So he's already in a position that he doesn't need to play this week. He will need to win probably one of the 3 events he plays, and maybe a little extra on that. But he's built up his points at this stage. Whereas other players like myself, I'll probably go in with, I don't know, I'm not quite sure, but maybe 95,000 points or 94 or something like this. So if I win this week, I'll steal a march and jump to the front of the pack probably. So it's a good opportunity for everybody out there to feel like it's a short race. Just get hot for 4 weeks and you can do it.
And then come September 13th, it's down to the top 30 left for the last
for the Tour Championship. Yep. But if you're not in the top 30 at this stage, you don't have a chance of winning. Right. So it's good the way they cut the fields down smaller and smaller, keeping it as tight as they can. Yet opening it up to as many players from the first week to give everybody a chance of winning. And it really is. It's quite open from here on in. Anybody who gets hot over those 4 weeks could really do some damage.
Let's talk about the Barclays Classic. It's at the Westchester Country Club. It's not the longest course. It's actually probably one of the shorter courses on the PGA Tour. But why don't players... Numbers are usually pretty manageable. Why don't players dominate this course?
It's because it's a traditional golf course with a lot of slope in the greens from back to front, and if you miss the greens in the wrong places, you're going to struggle to get up and down. While the tee shots, you aren't required to hit too many drivers, but there are very few golf courses nowadays that you've got to be accurate. You don't want to miss too often on the holes, because not alone could you be in trouble, but also, as I said, your iron shots into the greens are so important. You've got to be hitting them from the fairway. So I think everybody likes the course. That's another thing. It's a course that we all come to and think we can play good golf on. As you say, it tends to be like an 8, 9, 10 under par, something like that, maybe 12 under par. It'd be interesting to see how it plays this week now, because we normally play it in June, and it's very hard and fast. It really does play short, but with a bit of rain that there has been and the temperature's been a little lower, it might be a tougher test. A softer test, though, it might be softer, and that could make it easier, or it could be just longer. I'm not quite sure how it's going to play. It's going to be new for everybody.
Do golfers, on a whole, like the traditional courses because you don't play them that much anymore?
Yeah. We all love going to traditional golf courses. It's what we were brought up playing on, and they tend to be very fair, and they're not as punishing for a slightly erring shot, and they're just more enjoyable. And I personally like playing in amongst mature trees. I'd rather hit a shot that if I miss the fairway, I run into the trees and I have to shape a shot out of it, maybe hit a low cut or something like that, rather than if I miss the fairway, I'm either in heavy rough that I'm hitting a wedge out of, or maybe in a water hazard. I much prefer I suppose there's a little bit of luck involved in playing a traditional golf course, and that's the way golf is meant to be. There's meant to be a little bit of hit and miss, a little bit of imagination and skill used when you do get into trouble, whereas the sort of new stadium courses, it's much clearer cut. You're either in trouble or you're not.
It's certainly a course where you'll use every club that's in the bag throughout the weekend.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good test.
Which is always good to have, especially as you head towards the end of this season. All right, now this year, when it's all said and done, whether you take home Player of the Year or whatever happens when this is all said and done with the FedEx points, are you going to do anything different than maybe in years past?
No. My intentions. The only difference is, it's 7 months to the next major, and my appetite after winning one major is for more, and I just can't wait for the next one to come around, and that poses a little bit of a problem. I have to play a lot of events between now and next year, and I want to be competitive. I want to be focused. So I'm anxious to get to the next major, but I realise I have to be disciplined and stay in the present. I'm not going to change my game plan in any shape or form. I have plenty of things I want to improve in my golf swing and all the way through my game, but whether I'd won the Open or not, I'd still be trying to do those things. So generally with my game, it's about gradual improvement, steady improvement. I've done that successfully in my first 10 years as a pro, and I'm happy that I can keep moving forward. I've got some good stuff to work on, but I'm not going to stand and say, well, I've won now, my game is good enough, I can leave it alone. And I'm not going to also go and say, which I've seen some people do, I've won now a major, I can go and remodel everything. I don't need to do that either. It's a gradual process of improving.
And of course, that first major of every year, the Masters, which is on CBS, as too is the Barclays Classic, which you can see Saturday and Sunday this weekend on CBS. And of course, Padraig Harrington will be there. Thank you so much for joining us. A pleasure.
Thank you very much.
And good luck this weekend.
Thank you.